Hello, welcome to another video. Despite massive leaps by Russia's aviation industry, Russia still needs Western jets. The reasons are about cold hard facts, not about sentiment or any perceived lack of pride. After I set out the reasons, you will understand where I am coming from. Russia is not the Soviet Union, with whom the West was in an ideological battle between capitalism and communism. The former communists are now capitalists. Following the collapse of the Soviet Union, Russia transitioned to Western planes for three reasons. Western planes were more modern, they were cheaper, and they were attractive to airlines and passengers. So Russia's commercial airlines nearly all changed to Western planes, with a few older Soviet planes still in operation in the Russian government service with some modernization. 3 years on from the start of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, Western planes still dominate Russian commercial aviation. I chose at random arrivals at Moscow Sheremetyevo Airport on the 6th of May, and you can see from the arrival board that with the exception of a few limited Superjet 100, the vast majority were Western planes by Russian airlines such as the Airbus A330 or the Boeing 737 and more. These planes would not be used unless there was a need for it. You may say that it has been 3 years. They should have adapted. But to say so is not to understand how long planes take to develop. There are stages to go through from development until it is able to fly paying passengers. It can take anything from a few years to a decade or even more. The Boeing 737 MAX has about 2 million parts, and in their case, they were modifying an existing design rather than starting from scratch. So this gives an indication about how mammoth a task it is. Planes have to be certified by the authorities before entering serial production. A rushed process and one crash and the project could come to an immediate end because the airplane itself will lose the confidence of airlines and passengers. What Russia is doing is for one country alone to build all the components for their planes. This is a seriously mammoth task. Airbus is a French company, Boeing an American company, but not everything is built in France and USA or USA exclusively. In the case of the Airbus A330neo, there are assembly plants in France, Germany, USA, China. And for the key parts, France produces front fuselage, center wing box, engine pylons and some doors, but Germany manufactures the remaining fuselage, the tail cone, the flaps, the fin and rudder. The United Kingdom produces wings. India supplies components like the escape hatch, doors, flap track beacons for the A320neo and the A330neo. If you have not already done so, please do consider subscribing and clicking the notifications icon. This would help the channel grow and reach more viewers. My goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of July. Now back to the video. So how do we know about the importance and priority that Russia places on its aviation sector? This was revealed by recent negotiations between Russia and the USA. The Russians revealed their hand as to what they asked for, what they cared about. The US has about $5 billion of Russian money frozen, and the Russians have said that this should be used to buy Boeing planes and spare parts. The Russians would not raise this if it was not important. They also understand that sanctions relief is more likely to come from the USA than the European Union. Finally, here's a video of a Boeing 777-300ER parked at the gate. This shows how large a plane is, and looking at the landing gear alone, we can see how this small part of the plane is a complex piece of technology. With millions of components required for any plane, this video gives a visual image of what an engineering marvel a plane is. This shows that developing such technology takes time, as the idea is that the plane should operate with no drama. For this, a saying comes to mind: act in haste and repent at leisure. The idea that Russia needs Western planes is about reality. It is clear that there will come a time when Russia will be able to be fully independent in aviation, and it is making rapid and positive progress towards it, but for now it is being realistic. If you have reached the end of the video, please do consider subscribing to help the channel grow. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.